Hello everyone, Josh here. In this video, let's talk about if Saitama was going all out in a fight between Saitama versus Cosmic Garou. Secondly, I will be talking about the fact is right that stars have been destroyed, then I guess possibility of at least galaxies gone as well, and I'm going to prove that with evidence. First, I want to talk about how strong was Saitama before breaking his limiter. Do he really qualified as a S-class hero? Crablant was his very first opponent, and Crablant is classified as a tiger-level threat. On average, to handle a tiger-level monster, you need at least 5 B-class heroes or 1 A-class hero. Even before he started training, Saitama was quite durable. He was taking hits from Crablant and still standing, and that's not something regular people can do. So even before he began training, he should have been at a high B-class to a low A-class level hero. And during his training, he grew strong enough to break his limiter, and by doing so, he went bald. But even before he broke his limiter, he should have been an S-class hero. He didn't even fight it, really. He just one-shotted it with 0 effort. To take down a demon-level monster, you need 10 A-class heroes or 1 S-class hero. And considering how Saitama handled it, he should have been at the upper echelons of the S-class for sure. So, all things considered, while Saitama may look average, he certainly wasn't average by any standards, even before he removed his limiter. A lot of people have the mentality, if I don't see it, it isn't there. They wouldn't say this is a one-story building. The fact that you can't see any light within the radius means that there is nothing behind it for millions, possibly even billions of light years. Even if we were to believe that it destroyed 0 galaxies, which obviously can't be true with a vacuum that size, the fact that it reached intergalactic ranges makes this a galaxy, possibly even multi-galaxy level feat. I didn't want to be that guy who pulls this out to scale, but we can see galaxies. So that means there's more bigger or closer galaxies to Earth in the OPM universe. So anyways, Saitama is multi-galaxy level. And if you say, that's not galaxy level probably? First, it's unclear if they actually did that, as some people theorize that it's actually a portal to teleport them somewhere away from Earth or something. Second, there is a lot more than just a few thousand stars in a single galaxy. Answer to that is, it was not a portal. Blast and his team just redirected the vector of the destructive energy to another corner of the universe. If you've noticed, after Blast directs the energy coming out of Saitama's fist in a different direction, a void larger than both the Boots and Eridanus voids combined appears in space. It is impossible for only stars to exist in a vacuum of this size. As Austin Smith pointed out, the fact you see no light within the radius means there's nothing behind for millions of light years, meaning that millions of galaxies were destroyed in a matter of seconds. I just showed you panel for panel that this was fact of void caused by of the destructive energy vector of the Sirius Punch squared being redirected into space. This is stated by Blast himself as he admits that the energy cannot be contained by his hyperspace portals, and that he can only try to redirect the energy away from Earth. We then see his team use their powers to help him redirect the beam of energy at another corner of space. A boom occurs, and we see a massive supervoid pop up in the distance. Before I move on, first I want to clear one more thing. Saitama with hair turned his back in the mirror so fast that people says he is FTL. This is wrong. Image delayed. It is a simple science. When the light illuminated the mirror, it doesn't immediately reflect and cause delay, despite it is probably few nanoseconds depending on the moment and light quality. But here is another catch after this. After image. Saitama was moving so fast that he created a series of after image with consist of mirror delay, which is why he was barely able to see his bold spot behind. Last thing is the human brain can produce a series of hallucinatory palinopsia effects that brain will capture these fuzzy after image and attempt to create a full animation on its own. I mean, even average person can somehow do it, just not as sufficient as Saitama because he is way faster, so his vision can capture more image and fuse better inside the brain. It is the composite issue together. Plus, there was no one beside him, so the self-perspective can be as inaccurate as Garou's Saitama growth theory, because there are no witness to tell the exact situation, and based on character's view can be extremely inaccurate and misleading. By judging the speed at the time, he should be at entry of low massive hypersonic. He consistently looked back cause wind that blow off his furnitures. Because when he reached subrelativistic, his house would have become molten rock already. This happened when he was moving in a tremendous speed that allowed the delay to be duplicated to the point that image somehow stayed in mirror for a bit. Then again he stopped in the middle so reflection quickly reversed back, and so he did again. but I believe his eye and brain did capture in that very moment, which was why he was freaked out. 1 second is long enough to let the image to be staying in the brain. Saitama is FTL if he wants to, or out of necessary. But the environmental impact would be severe if he really tried, which he did during Saitama vs. God, an audiobook. He obliterated millions of stars by just moving back in time. Now let's talk about if Saitama was going all out, as Dragon Ball fans mostly think this way. The text paragraph had shown let loose, not mean going all out. Let loose, in English language, meaning he can dish more or draw more effort in one incident. Drawing more doesn't necessarily have to be all in, but I don't think Dragon Ball fan will get it. It was never stated that exactly that I am going all out. That serious punch was due to the angle. Boros fired CSRC at around 85 degrees or 1 o'clock, which is nearly vertical, and while the punch collided in with CSRC, the damage to the planet was reduced to minimal. If he swings at lower angle, the planet will surely blow out half of it if the force is close to 30 degrees from horizon. Despite the CSRC neutralized part of the force, and an angle was away from the surface, it still managed to split the atmosphere in half, is truly scary. Second, solar system isn't as dense as you think. There are plenty of space that allow any force travel without destroy. Any planet and punch itself is directional. Not splash and splash force can damage widespread. Not to mention the punch was neutralized by CSRC, so the force will deplete if distance is far enough. It won't wipe out the solar system because the force is weakened. Plus, that so-called killer serious punch isn't really that serious. Probably the strongest punch to deal with someone he intended to kill, but surely not his full power and more like a reflection of it. Saitama doesn't know how strong he can actually be unless someone is strong enough to push him. And Garou wasn't the one, sadly, as Saitama was even concerned that if he hitting too hard on Garou. Saying let loose was more like he finally see Garou as actually threat to society, that he had to handle him as hero in professional manner, meaning he finally treated Garou as stronger version of terrorist, like Sonic Ninja King or Savage Brian from Ninja Village, and not an ordinarily human. But the force is still suppressed low enough to fight Garou. But Garou pushed Saitama to the degree that Saitama forgot that he was fighting a human and hitting harder and harder to the point that Garou spitting blood and his armor began to crack. Saitama treats his opponents in different manner, which based on who they are. Monster = kill without hesitation. Terrorist serial killer. = brutality beating, but without taking their life. Criminal = stop the action, disable the movement and disarm them. Gang = usually just leave them, but he will knock them out if they're being too aggressive. Average human. Walk away or apologize when encounter the conflict. Sometimes will argue with them but never proceed any aggression. That's all I wanted to clear in this video, but feel free to point out my mistakes in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Bye.